Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning in Tokyo. A 7-year-old girl named No leaves her apartment alone. No parent beside her. She walks to the train station, buys her ticket, transfers at Shinjuku, the busiest train station in the world, and arrives at school. By herself. When she gets there, she doesn't wait for a teacher to tell her what to do. She puts on her cleaning apron, picks up her cloth, and starts wiping down the classroom floor. No one asked her. No one threatened her. No one yelled. She just does it. Now think about your morning. The battle to get shoes on. The third request to put down the tablet. The breakfast that ended in tears. Same age. Two completely different children. So what is Japan doing that we're not? The answer isn't what most people think. It's not strictness. It's not fear. It's not some cultural magic that can't be replicated. It's a philosophy. A specific teachable system. And once you understand how it works at a brain level, at a behavioral level, you'll never look at discipline the same way again. It starts with a word most Western parents have never heard. Shitsuke. Shitsuke doesn't have a clean English translation. It's often called discipline, but that's misleading. In English, discipline usually means a response to bad behavior. The child acts out, the parent reacts. Shitsuke is something completely different. According to researcher Nobuko Uchida, whose work on Japanese child rearing became a foundational text in developmental psychology, Shitsuke is a scaffolding, a structure you build around a child that gradually becomes unnecessary because the child has internalized it. Think of it this way. When you first teach a child to tie their shoes, you hold the laces with them. Then you watch with your hands close. Then you step back. Then one day you're not even in the room anymore and they do it. Shitsuke applies that logic to everything. Manners, emotional regulation, responsibility, self-control. You don't wait for the behavior to go wrong and then correct it. You build the behavior in through daily repetition, clear expectation, and consistent modeling until it becomes automatic. Until it stops being a rule and starts being who they are. Its roots go back centuries to Zen Buddhism, where discipline isn't imposed from outside, but grown through practice until it becomes identity. A Zen monk doesn't meditate because someone forces them to. They meditate because it has become part of them. Japanese parents borrow that exact logic. But here's the part that will genuinely surprise you. A joint study by researchers at the Université de Montréal and Stanford University, published in the journal Development and Psychology, found something that stopped the scientific community cold. Repeatedly yelling at children, not hitting, not abusing in any extreme sense, just yelling, was linked to measurably smaller brain structures in adolescence, specifically in the regions tied to emotion regulation and stress response. MRI scans showed the same structural differences they typically find in children who have experienced serious abuse from yelling, the kind of yelling most of us consider normal, the kind that happens in loving homes when patience runs out. Lead researcher Dr. Sabrina Safran said it plainly. The frequent use of harsh parenting practices can harm a child's development. Now, this is not a guilt trip. Every parent has raised their voice. Every parent will again. But here's what matters. Yelling works in the moment. It creates silence. It does not create discipline. And Japanese parents seem to understand at a cultural level what neuroscience is only now catching up to. So what do they do instead? The first thing is so counterintuitive, it stops most Western parents in their tracks. They get quieter. An American writer living in Tokyo described watching a Japanese father on a crowded train platform. His child was mid-meltdown, crying, refusing to move, the full performance. The father didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He pulled his family off the train, let the doors close, waited for the platform to empty, and then crouched down to the child's level for a calm, private conversation. She started noticing this everywhere. Parents crouched behind pillars in train stations. Parents at the edges of parks, speaking softly, always private, always calm, always after the moment, not inside it. Because Shitsuke teaches one principle above all. You cannot teach a child anything while their nervous system is flooded. A child in the middle of a meltdown is not a child who can learn. They are a child who is drowning in their own emotion. The correction comes after the storm. when the air is clear, when they can actually hear you. The second thing Japanese parents do is even more powerful, and it costs nothing. They model the behavior they want before they expect it. This isn't a theory. It's a daily practice baked into the culture. Every single day in Japanese schools, children clean their own classrooms. It's called osoji cleaning time. Each student has a specific assigned role. They sweep, they wipe, they organize, not as punishment, as training. And the older students, sixth graders, are assigned to help the first graders do it. Building not just responsibility, but community. Not just compliance, but care. The logic is simple. When you are the one who cleans the space, you stop treating it carelessly. You stop seeing it as someone else's problem. You develop ownership. Japanese parents and teachers do not say, be responsible. They create situations where the child practices being responsible every single day until it's automatic. And then there's this, Netflix has a show called Old Enough, known in Japan as Hajimete no Otsukai, which translates to My First Errand. In it, children as young as 2 and 3 years old are sent on solo errands, buying groceries, delivering packages, navigating neighborhoods alone. Western audiences watch it with their hands over their mouths, but here's what the show reveals that the title doesn't. The parents don't just open the door and say good luck. They walk the route with the child for weeks first. They introduce the shopkeepers. They point out the landmarks. Then they follow 1 block behind. Then 2 blocks. Then they let go entirely. Independence is not handed to children. It is built in them incrementally, intentionally, over time. And the result? Research confirms that only 1.7% of Japanese school children are bused to school. The overwhelming majority walk or use public transit alone. Not because Japan is reckless, because Japan has spent years preparing them. Here is the summary. Western discipline is mostly reactive. Something goes wrong, we respond, we yell, we punish, we bargain, and then we do it again tomorrow because nothing actually changed. Japanese discipline is proactive. It asks a completely different question. Not how do I stop this behavior right now, but what skill does my child not have yet and how do I teach it? Shitsuke answers that question through 4 things. Modeling first. Before you expect a behavior, you do it yourself, especially under pressure, especially when you're frustrated because your child is not listening to your words. They are recording your behavior. Routine over reaction. The behavior you want becomes a daily habit practiced so repeatedly it no longer requires negotiation. It simply is correction in private. When a child acts out in public, the environment is not the classroom. Wait, create space, then teach. Real responsibility. Not pretend responsibility. Not help me hold the bag. Real tasks with real weight, because confidence is not built by praise. It is built by the experience of doing something genuinely difficult and succeeding. The neuroscience and the philosophy land in the same place. What shuts a child down is fear. What builds a child up is mastery. And the parent who yells, even the loving, exhausted human parent who yells, is accidentally teaching the lesson they don't want to teach. That emotion is how you take control. That volume is authority. That chaos is how adults handle what they cannot manage. The Japanese parent who kneels down, speaks quietly, and waits is teaching a different lesson. That calm is power. That patience is strength. That the person in control of themselves is the person worth listening to. You don't need to move to Tokyo. You don't need to overhaul your entire parenting approach by tomorrow morning. Pick one thing. Build one small routine this week that your child does without being asked. The shoes by the door, the plate in the sink, the bag packed the night before. Do it with them first, then beside them, then let them do it alone. Then watch what begins to happen, not just to their behavior, but to how they carry themselves. That's Shitsuke. And it's been working for centuries. I'll see you in the next one.